what's going on close to the Greece and the drone attack.
Yes.
The question would be, how does the alleged Ukrainian drone strike near Greek territory challenges Greece's claims of non-involvement in Russia-Ukraine war? And the risk, what risk does this pose for Greek national security? Where we talk about, before coming up, you mentioned something else. This is not a Ukrainian attack, it's something
Correct.
else. What is your understanding of what has happened?
All right. Well, while I talk, maybe you can put the map up on the screens, because most people aren't familiar with the map of Crete, where it is. There it is. This is a map that was produced a couple of hours back by Italian military radar, ITA Mil Radar, which is a pardon me, Italian website that purports to monitor NATO operations in the Mediterranean, in the Black Sea, and so forth. Now, what you can see there is the island of Crete to the left center, right center. And you can see the Kendall, which is the tanker which was hit by a drone. The dotted line heading northeast purports to be the Ukrainian drone attack, a long-range drone attack on the Kendall. This is nonsense. But let me just make it clear. We'll now talk about the evidence of who actually committed this attack. It was a NATO attack, a US operation, probably based at Timpaki on the south coast of Crete. But this is important to understand the evidence, because what we have here is not simply an attack from Greece on a tanker. This is part of an expanding, escalating war by the US, underlined, that's the Trump administration, and the European allies and NATO against Russia on the high seas everywhere. That's to say, a warfighting doctrine of no safe waters for the Russian trade, for Russian vessels, for Russian cargoes, no safe waters anywhere. Now, that's the context in which to look at this. What really happened here comes after several attacks. We've mentioned them in the program before. Several Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian vessels in the Black Sea, one or two of them off the Turkish coast, so way outside Russia's ports in the Black Sea, way outside, much to the south of Crimea and Novorossiysk. We have Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian energy facilities, as well as the Kazakh energy export port near Novorossiysk. This is part of the drone war on the Black Sea and the drone war against Russian refineries are an attempt by the Ukrainians and their NATO allies, with targeting assistance from the United States, to persuade everybody that the Ukraine can win the war by disabling the Russian economy. And there are still some folks who believe that Russian economy is in desperate trouble. It's a nonsense, but you see it all the time. And Seymour Hersh has recently put out a nonsense piece repeating this, coming from whatever US officials he talks to. Let's go back to the Greek matter. There have been attacks all through December on Russian vessels and counterattacks by Russia against Ukrainian shore targets, especially Odessa, in the Odessa region, where the drone units are based, where the naval drone units are based, and where the British advisors to the Ukraine undersea and subsurface drone attacks are based. Okay? Now, what then happens is that there's been this attack on the Kendall. We could go, maybe I skipped the details of the Kendall. The Kendall was has been a Greek-owned tanker within the last 15 years. Its ownership today is unknown. You can go through all the maritime media and you can't get exact details of who owns it now. Its flag of registration has changed. Its name changes. It's alleged to be part of the shadow fleet moving Russian oil and Iranian oil cargoes in defiance of US sanctions, although this vessel was not US sanctions, UK and European Union sanctions. What happened here was almost certainly an attack by a NATO unit against this vessel. Why do I say that? Because the shipping media, for example, Lloyd's List in London, are presenting security sources, they don't identify who they are, which say unambiguously this was a relatively short-range drone attack on this vessel. That's one bit of evidence. The other bit of evidence is a bit of reverse. The BBC, Kathimerini, the Greek daily newspaper, all the media reporting that you see, including the video, report that this material came from the SBU, the Ukrainian Domestic Security Service. It's now the SBU's engaged in naval warfare. It is a proposition that the BBC presents as if it's obviously true. I read it as meaning it's obviously false. What it is false and interesting to say is that the story that this is a Ukrainian attack is a Kiev propaganda operation supported by all the usual suspects, starting with the BBC. So the Greek press has simply picked this up, okay? What it means, however, is different. There are 2 or 3 possibilities of how this vessel was attacked. It, by the way, was empty. It was not carrying Russian cargo. It had carried Russian oil from Novorossiysk to an Indian port, discharged the oil, and then was coming back, moving westward up the Suez Canal. It was going to go through the Mediterranean and probably up the Atlantic into the Baltic and home to Russia. That's what it was purportedly going to do. What it's not Russian owned, it's not Russian flagged, there was no Russian cargo. It just happened to have been sailing along at the same time as it's under UK and European sanctions. Those sanctions are UK declaration of war against Russia, but they're not legally binding on the entire world. Okay, the same position that Russia has towards the United States. But what's important here to understand is the drone was either fired from Timpaki. By the way, there are at least two drones. The drone attack on the surface of the vessel, a minor explosion. You can see it. And second, the drone that was used to photograph the explosion, which is what we all treated to see as a Ukrainian SBU creation. Either it was fired from a Greek base, and the surveillance drone that came with it came from the Greek base, or both came from a vessel, probably in the US 6th Fleet, operating in the Eastern Mediterranean. Now, having come to our program this morning, I can't tell you which US 6th Fleet vessels are within 200, 300 kilometers of the vessel to achieve what we call a short-range drone attack. The third possibility is the least likely, and that is that it was fired from the Libyan coast, which is about 200 kilometers to the south. That would require a British or US Special Forces group operating on the Libyan coast around the Tobruk area to fire a drone like this. That seems a whole lot less likely, but impossible that it was Libyans. Okay, that's impossible. So what we have here is a NATO base or a NATO or US vessel firing. That's really important. And the only point to where this point has been made is the Greek Parliament. Only the Greek Parliament and only the KKE, the Greek Communist Party, has made an explicit objection to the incident as a case of, is Greece now at war with Russia directly? And I'm just looking through my papers, pardon me for looking down. Nikos Papanastasis is an MP for the Greek Communist Party. At the present moment, the Greek Communist Party is polling around 10%, somewhere between 8 and 10% of Greek voters' intentions for the next election. The government's weak at 29%. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, the prime minister, won the last election with 40-odd%. He's down to 29%. So he's weak, like all the European governments fighting Russia. He said off the record that Greece is against Russia. Greece is supplying all sorts of war material to the Ukraine. Greece has been persuaded to sign up to a whole range of secret and not so secret defense agreements with the United States in the belief that Greece will be protected from its real enemy, which is Turkey. Without going to strain everybody's patience about Greek politics and Turkish politics, the important point is this. Here is a NATO member using its base, Timpaki, on the south coast of Crete, a very nice place, and firing at a tanker as an act of a war against Russia on the high seas as part of a general but totally secret NATO strategy of denying all high seas travel by Russian tankers or by tankers carrying Russian cargo. They're not to be safe anywhere, neither the Mediterranean now nor the Baltic. We've had an incident currently going on in which Sweden has stopped a Russian container vessel, a Ro-Ro container vessel, allegedly for inspections. That vessel seems to have had an engine breakdown. It's not an act of war, but we have had interceptions by the Danes and by the French in and around the Atlantic. So what we've got here isn't quite Trump's Caribbean pirate operation, but we have got a US NATO operation to make Russian navigation and trade unsafe everywhere. And that's a very serious act of war, and Greece is engaged in it. And Papanastasis is the only member of a parliament in the entire European Union to have asked, what role did Greece play in this event? Is Greece now at war with Russia? And those are the questions that the Greek Prime Minister, Mitsotakis, is not willing to answer. What we have in Greece is a very special situation. It's a very paradoxical one. Greek people are more hostile to war with Russia and more pro-Russia in this conflict than any other European state. And yet they're ruled by a 29% prime minister who suppresses this and goes on doing things like this. So for everyone who asks, why does Europe tolerate a losing war on the Ukrainian battlefield, let alone expand the military wherewithal and the cost to Europe and European countries and European taxpayers of financing a losing war? Why does it happen? And in Greece, you have a very odd situation. More people are against it, but the government is now, with this operation, obviously for it.